let's talk about solar. Or in Alaska, the lack thereof, half the time. When you make almost all of your power on solar power, well, you need to take a lot of things into consideration. But it does do one thing. It makes this a pretty big adventure. Our American adventure.
Our American adventure, Alaska.
That for me?
So today, excellent day to talk about solar. Why? There's no sun. In Alaska, we deal with a lot of varied challenges when it comes to solar. Because half of the year, there's virtually no sun. The other half, there's way too much sun. Now, it isn't quite that bad. In fact, it's dramatic to even say anything close to that. Really, we're only dealing with about 6 months of daylight and 6 months of night. It's not anywhere, I'm kidding. It's in somewhere May through, say, July is when you really peak on the sun. And here where we are in the Wasilla area, it doesn't get dark in June, but it's not exactly sunlight either. The sun does go down for about 2-3 hours and it comes back up. And it's quite interesting because that's where the sun rises, right up there in the northeast, and it goes up and around, and then it sets right back over here, which is kind of funny. And then it comes right back up and pops right back up. It feels really awkward. But in the wintertime, the sun pops up over here, goes just above the horizon, and sets right over there. We won't see the sun here in this location in probably after about October to say March. Something to consider. But we have a plan for that. And I want to take you on a little bit of a plan tour of what we're going to be doing. Because I care. You care. We all care. Well, mostly we just want power. Solar power. And the folks at Signature Solar are actually on board to help us overcome some other challenges we'll be talking about here shortly. So what we're looking at, this is what we have to work with. It's not a lot, but we don't really need a lot. And we have plans to overcome, well, our shortages that we are going to absolutely have. The sun, as I said, will come from up over there, will go way up here and set back down there. So way up in the sky, not overhead like in, say, many regions closer to the equator, but up there, not that high. In October, it'll just be just above the trees up there. And it'll set over here and same over here, as well as March. In December, January, it'll actually be behind those trees. How do you overcome that? Well, fortunately, there's a lot of technology nowadays that works, and there's a little benefit of Alaska, and that is snow. So snow being white, very reflective, and bifacial solar panels. In this case, blue sun solar panels that are bifacial and can produce a lot of power. Let me explain. So we need to make our solar any way we can in every condition we can. And many days in Alaska is overcast. Bifacial panels work by collecting the sunlight both for the front and the back. So our 460 watt blue sun solar panels can produce upwards of 575 watts. You're probably never going to produce that. But we're going to try, by golly. In the wintertime, when it's really cold, that's when your best bet to collect that, but we're not going to get it because of the trees. What we will get, ambient. And ambient light is like overcast light. And when you have overcast light, well, you can make power on both sides of those panels all at the same time. So we have, it's a lot, I get it. But again, I was planning for what we don't have, which is sun. We have 28 of these blue sun solar panels, and it is a lot. That's 12,500 watts of solar panels. We don't need that much in the summertime. We don't know what we're going to do. We might just boil water just for the heck of it. But in the wintertime, we're going to be counting on the reflection of ambient light from the snow on both sides of those solar panels because we can't get the sun. And we're actually going to be producing 2,000 to 3,000 watts just with bifacial and ambient. That's where it really comes in. So we're actually going to end up having panels over here pointing that way, over here pointing this way, and a whole bunch in between pointing backwards. Why? To maximize. We don't really have a spot here. It's not just a big giant field. If we were on the other side of the road, it'd be a great way. We just line the whole wall of solar panels and we'd have as much as we could get. We don't have that option. This is what we have. And we're going to make do. This right here, it's not my property. But this right here would be a great property for solar. You could line this whole side right here with solar panels and pick it up all day long. That'd be amazing. But we have a north facing. Was it what we wanted? No. But sometimes you just gotta take what you can get. It's also a very small piece of property. But it's something to consider when you're choosing your home site for solar. You need to make sure that you can overcome certain things. In our case, we do have Alaska's weather to really help us gain as much as we can. But if you're in, say, a southern U.S. state, then it's a little bit easier because, well, you can just kind of point more upwards. So one of the design elements that we've always had in mind while we were building in Alaska is having a temporary solar shed. Now, lithium batteries can't charge above 32 degrees unless you have heaters on board. Heaters are nice, but heaters do consume power. They literally can't operate without that. So you have to consider and weigh your options. Do you have the excess solar to compensate for the heaters? Because the heaters are going to pull X amount of wattage, which means that has to be replenished. Our option is, it gets cold here, negative 20, negative 30 Fahrenheit, which is close to negative 20, 30 Celsius. So our design idea was to have a solar shed Ultimately, we wanted to have it all within the house, but there is noise involved with inverters, unfortunately. Especially when the sun's out, by golly, those fans are humming. Now, I know there's some new technologies coming out that will definitely keep that a little quieter, unlike all the noise here, but what we got is what we got. This place came with an extra shed, which in our case works out quite well. This will be our solar shed. It will also be kind of a shower house. It'll be a lot of things. But we have it. And we can heat it relatively inexpensively because we don't need to keep that at, nice 78 degrees or something like that. But we got to keep it above freezing. So we can use what they call a Toyo stove, which is an oil drip stove. And we can keep it at 50 pretty affordably. So that's what we're planning on doing with the Solar Shack. Cool name. Let's see. So here's the inside. As we got it, we will be doing some changes in here. Mostly, we got to get rid of the smell. The smell. I'm sure it's lovely for some. I'm sure many people enjoy it. I do not. It is overly perfumed. God just hit me right there. I described it as a Renaissance fair on closeout day when all the fragrances must be sold and worn because, well, it's been hot out. And come on in, Rex. Come on in, buddy. I know it smells funny. It smells really bad. But this is it. And our plan is, well, we have our cabinet here. We have 6 EG4, 5,000 watt, or 5,000 kilowatt. No. We've got 6 EG4 of their V2 batteries. These are the 48 volt batteries. They're 5.12 kilowatt hours. And I don't know why I have the hiccups, but Alaska gives me the hiccups for some reason. I haven't had hiccups in years. We have 6 of those. We have 2 of these 6000 XP inverters, giving us a total of 12,000 watts of inversion power. But we're going to be upgrading to a bigger one with the help of Signature Solar, who is so kind to kind of partner with us and help us along this journey. I've been working with Signature for a long, long time, but I told them about what we were doing, and they were excited. They're like, how can we help? I said, well, you have any land for sale in Alaska? They did not. But they're assisting us with some future purchases. All of this we purchased ourselves. So just to be clear, this was all purchased, budgeted for by us. There was no perks given on this. However, a future purchase with an expansion, they will be helping us with. So in all fairness there, just wanted to disclose that. But all of this we bought. What are you doing, Rex? What are you smelling? Yeah, but so we're going to be making a video here, putting all this together, getting it up and running. In here, we got to run a bunch of solar panels. This is temporary right now. We have to move this building back there. You all right, Rex? Be careful. We've got to move the other building back there, and we got to build a house back there. And all of this needs to be relatively close in proximity because you don't want your power that far away, but you don't want your solar panels, which are going to be far away, to be far away either. What do? Well, you do the best you can, and you run your panels in series at high voltage so that your voltage drop is negligible. And with the 28 solar panels, well, we'll be able to do just that. We'll be able to run 7 in series. That keeps it around 400-ish volts, if I did my math in my head correctly. Maybe just a little bit less. But that voltage running over long distances, very little voltage drop. Really adds up to very little line loss in there. So we'll have 4 different banks of solar panels going into these EG4 6000 XPs. And I'm really excited. I showed you guys before the 6000 XP operating by itself, and we'll be linking those here shortly. So please stay tuned. The next video, we'll be putting all this together and wiring it up and getting it running. And we'll probably, just to celebrate how much power we have, we're probably going to install a washer and dryer in here. Seems like something that was perfectly out of touch for Alaska. And you know, I get it. Some people say, oh, you're off the grid? You wash with your clothes on rocks down at the river. We're off the grid, but we're not out of touch with some creature comforts. I mean, come on. I'm a video... I'm a nature documentary filmmaker. I'm a commercial filmmaker. I do a lot of things, technology. We're not going to be living in the dark ages out here, but we won't be connected to the grid. And that's for certain, guaranteed, because it's not here. There isn't a grid connection anywhere around here. And I don't care. And it's fun because other people are like, oh, we didn't like the property because we couldn't get connected to the grid. Great, we love it. So hopefully this was a little bit of informative. We're going to have some other videos coming out shortly. Just like I said, building this out and celebrating with some power usage while we build our house in the back. We'll have some videos on that as well. So please continue to like and subscribe. The channel is really growing, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all because we have a lot. We have a lot to take on, and we have to do it in a very short time frame because it starts to snow soon. And once the ground freezes, it's like concrete. So we've got like 2 months to get our house up. I'm aiming for it. We're going to do it. We're going to take you along for it. So, as always, stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by.